you have problems in your relationship, the one thing you don't do is go running to the internet asking advice toward anybody, right? Don't go ask a group because you're going to get the worst advice ever. Case in point, I want you to hear what this woman has to say.
I'm in a group on Facebook that's for wives. It's for a page for black wives to support other wives. And some lady comes on there and she says she needs some advice that her and her husband are going through marital issues. They're having communication issues. She says she wrote him a letter, and in the letter she said if he doesn't respond back to her verbally, then she understands that he's, no longer wanting to be a part of their marriage. And I am flabbergasted at the amount of women, wives, mind you, that have commented and told this lady, oh, no, sis, you got your answer, I would leave. What? I was the first one to comment and say, go to marriage counseling. Have you tried marriage counseling? But the amount of wives that are on there instructing this lady to leave her husband over some communication issues is beyond me. Really? That's what we doing? Are y'all not taking marriage seriously or something? Because that's fixable. That is something that can completely be resolved in their marriage. I get that everybody's not for marriage counseling, but y'all gonna tell her to leave her husband? What is really going on? I completely understand why the divorce rate is so high now. Because women, is that an emotional response or what? Honey, no. Over some communication issues, that can be resolved, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you, work on your marriage. I'm going to be the first one to say, honey, no, fight for your marriage. You don't just leave your husband over communication issues. What are y'all really out here doing?
Listen, every marriage is going to have its ups and its downs. Trust me, it will. And in the middle of your downs, you got to be careful who you're taking counsel from. You can't go talk to certain family members because certain family members would love to see you broke up out your marriage. You can't go online because misery loves company online, and they don't know the situation. And let me tell you also, when people telling the situation, people are telling their side. With my experience, there's two sides to that story, and somewhere between both sides, if you listen hard enough, you're gonna find the silver lining. Sometimes it's one side, sometimes it's both. This is who's causing the problem in the relationship. But like she said, I'm a firm believer that stay in your marriage, stay with your wife, stay with your husband. Let me talk to men. Stay with your wife. Ain't nothing going on out there in those streets. Trust me, nothing. Today is wild. People out here laying up with each other raw, and all that all over the place. At least during our time, we was their age. They had the Wrap It Up campaign. They don't have no Wrap It Up campaign. They talking about my chart and just go and get some medicine to clear it up. They live in a time of prep. So they feel that even if they can go take this medicine and they don't have to worry about HIV or AIDS. You know what I'm saying? That's just they reckless with it. They reckless. As a man, do you really want to get out there with people that's reckless like that versus, what your wife got going on. You know her, you've been knowing her. Yes, you got your issues and problems. And then another thing, do you really want to go through the mess of getting to know another woman and dealing with all that, your emotions again? And you've invested time, years, and everything into your marriage. Why in the world would you want to give it up? Now, there's certain things that can't be, say, oh, no, I can't deal with that. But if it's not one of those things that you can't deal with, that you just utterly disrespectful and clearly they what they did with the disrespect you can't come back from. If it's nothing like that, fight for your marriage. Same thing with women. It's nothing going on out here. Look at all these women online constantly complaining about the men, how the men won't take them seriously, how the men are princesses too, how the men are carrying purses too. Your husband is nowhere near that. Do you really want to get in that mess? And then you will be on here making videos. I should have stayed with my husband. I don't know why I left. We had our problems, but it wasn't that bad. Now that I got out here. You don't want them experiences. Like I said, get some counseling. I'm a firm believer if you're going to talk to somebody about marriage issues, either be a counselor or a married couple who has a healthy marriage, and they're not going to sit up here and tell you what you want to hear. That's really my advice with that. If you going online to talk to people, and a lot of times these people talking not even married. That's the thing. I won't go to somebody who don't have no money for financial advice. I'm gonna talk to somebody that's a financial expert, and I can clearly see through their life, they are expert in their finances. That's the people advice I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna go to somebody who's homeless to ask about how to financially run my business. I'm not gonna do that. And that's what equivalent a lot of you do. You are in marriages. You got you may be in a downtime. It happens in relationships. And you're going to go talk to people who don't even have a wife or a husband and asking them for advice. They can't give you nothing more than to leave. That's all they can give you. They can't give you nothing more than that. They don't have the experience of the marriage, a long-term marriage or whatever, to go up and down. You can't just abandon everything just because it gets hard. Everything in life going to get hard. You going to have ups and downs with your children. Or you going to just not be a mother or father anymore because it's hard? No, that's life. Your job, you got ups and downs. Business, you got ups and downs. Everything in life, you have ups and downs and all around. That is life. You can't just abandon everything. That's not the answer. Some things, like they say, you can't go around, you got to go through. And when you go through, you be a lot better at the end of the day. Because when you have those downtimes, your marriage can survive that downtime. When y'all come back up, because you're going to come back up. When y'all come back up, y'all going to be bigger and better. Y'all not going to repeat that same issue and problem y'all had in the past. But just up and abandoning your relationship on some, like you say, communication issues or things that just not even matter. Like, nobody beating each other. Nobody's out there doing nothing horrible. No. Stay with your husband. Stay with your wife. And trust me, in this day and time, it's great to have a relationship because you got two incomes in the house. You know how many people single right now struggling? Look at L.A. right now. $8 gas. I seen $8.64. And you live by yourself? Yeah, you're not gonna be driving much. But what if you had a man in the house? You had a woman in the house. Y'all working together. Then y'all can possibly do something because y'all got that $8 gas. You understand what I'm saying? So no, I don't ever advise somebody to leave their marriage. Especially when they got children. I really don't advise it because I'm so sick of seeing children raised without their mother and father. They need both. And when you took a vow in marriage, you said sickness and health, and you said better or worse. Sometimes you're going to have some better times. Yes, it's true. I'll be married 15 years this year. I've had a lot more better times than worse times, but I've had some worse times too. And the worst times, what I've learned, have made us better as a couple. If you can just go through the worst times. But I'm telling you from experience, you're going to have way more better times than worse times. But that's why they tell you that, better or worse. Sickness and in health. So you're going to have some time you're sick too. You're not going to be sick the majority of the time, hopefully, but you're going to have more healthy time, right? So people don't take them by, they don't think what they're saying that it's not going to happen. Sickness, health, better or worse. So yeah, don't go online asking people. Go to qualified people, like say therapists or somebody who's married. I prefer long-term married, that's been through a lot of stages in life and can give you some proper advice and who's not trying to be on your side. Because, one thing about what I love about my dad, if I'm wrong, he'll tell me I'm wrong. He's not going to sit up here and just agree with everything I say. He won't. And I love that. Because I don't want nobody yes man in me. No, I don't care if it's my parent. Don't do that. If my wife is right, tell me, hey, you wrong, she right. And if she's right, I'm sorry, if I'm right and she wrong, I say, okay, say the same thing. No, you wrong, he right. Or you're half right, he's half right. But let me tell you what this is. Or hey, y'all gonna have to compromise on this situation. Find a way to compromise. That's the kind of advice you want. You don't want somebody telling you to go. It's easy to tell somebody just to leave their situation. And they leave their situation, it's costly on top of that. And nobody online gonna help that woman. When she go from having a stable house to now her life is kind of chaotic right now. Nobody gonna help her with her bills. Nobody gonna help her with anything. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, stay in your household. Please don't go online asking for no marital advice or any groups. No. Go to a therapist. Go to a trusted source. People who are married in healthy relationships. You need some advice.